everyone, and welcome to the IR Update. Today with us, we have Callum Sommerton from Chill. Hi, Callum.
Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about communications for cannabis companies. And to start, what do you think are the main challenges that the industry is facing in the UK currently, both in terms of regulation and market?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think the biggest challenge for cannabis companies really is material uncertainty, and that manifests itself in a number of ways in the market. I think the first of those is legalization. Ultimately, both in the UK and further afield, there's a great movement in support from the public of legalization of cannabis products, but whether that's from the grassroots right the way up to corporates, the challenge is that the governments typically, especially in the UK, remain very cautious of any kind of legalization. And even in medical cannabis, access is limited. Many patients are facing serious barriers to obtain it, albeit that it's not a market that we particularly play in. I think also, just a note on regulation as well, it's obviously a huge challenge for cannabis companies. There's not a great deal of precedent to go on when taking calculated risks or trying to find opportunities. The UK regulatory framework around cannabis is fairly opaque, and there are very stringent rules even on the sale of CBD, which is non-intoxicating, which makes it much harder for companies like us to innovate. Examples are, for us, the novel foods process, which is quite prohibitive when it comes to selling CBD products and entering new sort of products onto the market. But that also extends to medical companies seeking home office licenses. So I think in a nutshell, I suppose, look, the industry struggles with that uncertainty. It relates even to things like banking, when cannabis companies find themselves unable to find competitive insurance or banking because the typical financial institutions are quite risk averse. All of this really means that, look, the regulatory challenges, the challenges around legalization make it very difficult for cannabis companies to operate in this market in a way that can attract serious investment. And it means that a great many companies in this space are scrappy startups. They're pre-profit or even pre-revenue, and they're trying to carve out a space in effectively what is an area of unknown sort of quantities. Nobody really knows exactly what will happen next in cannabis, but also that is why it's an exciting space, because look, we know things are moving in the right direction, and while there's uncertainty, there's also opportunity.
And excellent points. And how do you think, talking specifically about Chill, how do you differentiate yourself? Cannabis companies in the UK, and what are the main strengths that you highlight to investors?
Yeah, I think the crucial difference between Chill and other cannabis companies is that while our sector may be listed as cannabis, we actually are a consumer retail company with a product distribution platform, including hemp-derived products. We believe that CBD and other cannabinoids are just ingredients, and that you have to diversify if you want to succeed. That's why successful wellness and vitamin companies tend to have so many different products and ingredients. They provide something different for everyone, and that is where the mass market opportunity is. Our product distribution platform is based around our web domain, chill.com, which we acquired last year for a record $1.6 million. And we use that to distribute products to consumers, distributors, retailers. We're just also, for Chill, in terms of what our strengths are, we're coming out the side now of a significant turnaround, having restructured our management team and reconfigured our strategy. We're now building a marketplace on the website for brands, products, and ingredients that may, due to regulation and other factors, be unable to access sales via other sort of high traffic channels. And that includes hemp-derived products, also nootropics, adaptogens, tobacco alternatives, all of these products that are typically considered high risk, but that really do deserve an outlet. I guess, bringing that back around, our greatest strength in my view is that we've been very nimble. The value of our company dropped significantly during 2021. That was due to some internal factors, but also largely to the wider macro climate for cannabis stocks. But in a year, we've started, adding new products. We've got nicotine-free vapor products now. And our strength really is a fundamental understanding of the consumer goods category, the knowledge that trends for ingredients and modalities for their delivery come and go, and the ability to stay lean. We've got a very strong cash balance and a growing revenue opportunity now that we aim to capitalize upon. And that, for me, is the real sort of strength that this company has as a listed equity.
I see. And how is your company addressing sustainability and social responsibility in operations, and what are the plans to improve those further?
Yeah, again, a good question, particularly in relation to our newer product, which is vapor and vapes. A lot of people believe that vapor companies or even sort of tobacco alternative companies and fast-moving consumer goods are incompatible with, for example, ESG investing. I don't agree with that position. There are so many steps that can be taken to improve sustainability, and it starts with being conscious of your product and industry. More importantly, really, we're talking about how we can provide a recycling scheme for batteries and the outer units of our vapes, and we're in talks with certain partners to see how we can achieve that. But we're also looking extensively now, again, talking about sustainability, but social responsibility more so, finding ways to ensure that our products, particularly vapor products or adult consumables, are never sold to minors, and to ensure that all of the functional ingredients we deal with are handled in a socially responsible way. So that's really where we're trying to land. It involves things like age gating, and it's also learning from the mistakes of the past that have been made by large vape companies or tobacco companies before us. They've set a pretty bad example, and it's now time for us to learn from their own mistakes and not follow in the same path.
Very good. What about engaging shareholders? How do you keep them informed about the company's operations, industry developments in general? How do you keep your shareholder engaged?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's that we understand the need to keep our shareholders up to date with our work and do so across all of the channels that we can. It's not just about, putting out occasional corporate updates and regulatory announcements anymore. It used to be that through the UK's RNS system, we would provide almost all of our PR and IR. Now that's changed, and we're not just looking at regulatory announcements. We're looking at Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, through webinars like this, and also just keeping people up to date with our movements day to day. People who own shares tend to want to know more than just what happens at the annual report. They want to know, day to day, your sales guys are out on the road or whatever it happens to be. And equally, that works for us in many ways. Obviously, it attracts interest to the company, but it also helps us with sales and kind of more fundamentals. If our investors aren't customers themselves, they're sure to know somebody who is in our target demographic, and our aim is always to reach as wide an audience as possible.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And going to the future, how do you see the cannabis industry evolving in the near future in the UK? And what do you think will be the main factors will drive this growth?
Yeah, I think there's a few areas to pick on there. One being that CBD and other cannabinoids are really just ingredients. That's our view of them, and I think this will come to be the accepted view. It'll be included, CBD or whatever, CBG, CBN, as it's legalized, THC, will be included in lots of different products. We're seeing it in the States now as the THC beverage market takes off. And really, there will cease to be such a novel niche product category. So I think we can expect more of that. And that will also entice larger companies, the likes of your Niveas, etc., into the fold. I think also the medical market will continue to expand. There is liberalization happening there. It's becoming easier for patients to access cannabis, or at least in theory it should be. And I guess ultimately it comes back to the comment I made before about understanding consumer goods. And if you accept sort of many cannabis or hemp derivative products to be consumer goods, the markets are cyclical. It's all about understanding the trend, and CBD and cannabis stocks will rise again. There will be continued interest in them. And I think that, the next wave of growth is starting now after what has been ultimately a very difficult period for all cannabis stocks.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all the great inputs and great insights, and we're very happy to have you here, and hope to talk to you again at some point. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Good to speak to you.
You too.